Hi everybody, so to start we're just going to go through the ingredients. We have the egg, we have flour, we have milk. I have half cup of milk, half cup of water, and then here I have a mixture of sugar, cinnamon, nutmeg and clove. We're going to mix all of that. That's to mix everything up. When we are done, I am going to use a stick of butter. We have our pan here, so we're going to make a mixture first, and then so let's get in cooking the flour portion of this recipe. So first we're going to add our water to the pan, and as I said, we're going to use a stick of butter, 8 tablespoons. I'm going to use some salt, a pinch of salt. And I'm going to use a tablespoon of, if I can get it open, right? I'm going to use vanilla extract just to give it a little extra taste. So there's a lot of flavors in this churros, and I'm just going to put like a tablespoon of sugar, a level tablespoon, okay, nothing too over the top. And we're going to put this on the fire. I'm going to add in the flour, and we're going to let this cook. How do you know how it's cooked? When you start to see a coating to the bottom. If you want more instructions on that, you could go and check out my puff video on my YouTube channel. I will leave that puff video in the cards below. So let me put this on the fire, let me get this cooking. So I am adding the flour. I'm going to mix everything in. You want to mix it a little at a time because you don't want lumps. So you can see everything is melted, all the flour is smooth, there is no lumps. And I'm gonna keep cooking it. Let's keep drying up, and as you can clearly see, it has dried up a great deal, and this is the consistency you want. As I say, once that coating is there, you know you're done and your dough is ready to go. Let's move on to the next step. So you all know me, you know how I like to operate. The least amount of dishes that I could do, I would. So I left the dough in there to cool down, and once it has cooled down thoroughly, I start adding in my egg, 1 egg at a time, and I'm using my mixer, and I'm going to add them in and mix it in and get a nice smooth consistency. I find the mixer works much better than a spoon or a spatula. You get a nice smooth mixture. Alright, and there is a lot of flavor because I added salt, I added sugar, I added vanilla extract, the butter, everything is perfectly balanced. The milk, I added half cup of milk, half cup of water. If you're accustomed making things like puff pastries and that kind of thing, this is basically the very same mixture. All you're doing differently in this is adding, but all I did differently was added some vanilla extract and added some sugar. Normally you rarely add sugar to this mixture, and that's it. You're making the same mixture you make your puff pastries. Yes, and this is my first attempt at making this. So what went wrong with me and this recipe was I didn't have the proper tools, because the ones that I thought I have wasn't big enough until I was really ready to make them, and I attempted to just use a bag, just bore a hole in a bag, and when I did that I still didn't like the size I was getting, so I just stuck with what I had, and I made some very small churros, but it didn't have no design on it or anything. So I am going to attempt this again with the proper tools, and we will do another video. But I have said to myself recently, when I'm trying new recipes on my YouTube channel, I want to be real with you all and show you what happens when everything don't align perfectly. At times, or you just don't have the proper tools, and you see why you need the proper tools to do certain types of recipe, and this is one of them to make the churros. Alright, so let us continue. I am done here. You see the nice smooth consistency. We're going to put it in our bag. So this is where my problem started. So this is the sugar mixture, and if you're following me, you will realize I use some of this mixture for another recipe, my lemon pepper. Butter, that video would be in the cards above and in the end screen. So let's continue. So I made my own piping bag because in my puff video, you remember that I had a little mess up with my actual piping bag, and I was talking about buying good stuff to use when you're making these pastries, because yeah, if you don't have the right thing, you will end up in a monkey pants. So that is what happened with me. So I made my own. So remember earlier when I mentioned about using a bag, this is what I am doing here, using a bag, and I am placing it into the hot pot. So the scissors was just to get a clean end, just a clean cut, right? So when I'm using this now, I was like, they were coming out really small, and I really wasn't pleased, as you would see in the upcoming video. So I'm showing you how small it is, and I wasn't happy. But then I decided to cut the bag and do it that way. And then I went back to this because I was like, best I just do it this way, and I'll just have some real small ones to work with until I get the proper size that I need to do over this video. So this is it here. This is what the small one looked like, and as I said, it didn't have any design on them. So I just cut the bag, the mouth of the bag, and I'm just going to make it that size instead of that size of the piping bag that I have. The nozzle that I have is too small, so I'm just going to go that way. So as I mentioned, I went back to the original plan and just stick with the size that I had, and I placed it in the sugar, cooled them in the sugar, and I enjoyed them. Everything is the same. The recipe is the same as a churros recipe. Everything was done that way except for the size and the design. So the next time I am going to try this recipe again, I am going to try it with the proper tools to have the proper size and patterns. And you can see how light and airy they are, and the inside was full of flavor, very enjoyable. And it was not bad. I didn't do bad. It really came out good. It's just it didn't have the design as a normal churros, and they weren't the actual size of an actual churros, like the customary size. So that's the only thing, but I had the correct flavoring and texture. So join me again when I try this recipe again. Let's see how it comes out. Thanks for watching. Have a good one. Bye. And don't forget to check out all of my other recipes. Bye.